Which do you prefer?
Running on the treadmill
Or outdoors? Either way, we're all either Team Treadmill or Team Outdoors, but there are advantages and disadvantages to both. So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of running on the treadmill versus running outside so that you can make your runs work to your advantage and train most effectively. Stay tuned. We're going to get into it. Hi, welcome back to Temple Running. I am MJ Smith, and at Temple Running, we are here to help you enhance your temple, which is your mind and your body, through your souls. Most runners have an opinion on whether or not they are Team Treadmill or Team Outdoors. But there are advantages to both and disadvantages to both. And I know way more people who love outdoors. The treadmill gets a bad name. I mean, they even call it the dreadmill. But I happen to have started as a treadmill runner. So I love the treadmill, and I own a treadmill, and I run on a treadmill pretty frequently. I run outside. I'm like a fair weather runner when it comes to outside. Like, I'm not one that likes to run in the snow or in the rain or even when there's snow on the ground. I just would prefer not to deal with the hazards and everything that comes along with different weather conditions. Either way, I love them both, so I thought it was a good idea to do this to kind of give an in-depth analysis of both so that you can make the best decisions for your run plans and your training plans, because both of them are actually good for different things sometimes, and so you might want to do more of a combination of both. We're going to get all into that, but first, before I move on, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please hit that button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the button, hit the bell, and like this video so that I know that this is good content and I should keep putting out stuff like this. So let's move on. So let's start with the treadmill. Now, one of the biggest things I love about the treadmill is the convenience of it. I think that is the biggest advantage of a treadmill, because no matter if you have to work late, no matter if you have to get up before the sun comes up, it doesn't matter. One of the biggest things I have is that I have a small child, and I can't leave my child home alone. So if my husband isn't available, then I need to still be in the house, but I still want to get my workouts in. So the treadmill is incredible for convenience. It's still helping you get your fitness. And then you don't have to worry about, oh, it's getting too late or it's too early for me to go out. So that's one of the main advantages, I think, for the treadmill. Another thing that I like about the treadmill is that you can do structured workouts. I know you can do interval workouts. They have different apps that they can, measure out your intervals for you. But on the treadmill, like, I can see it and I can control it. So the control of the treadmill is another advantage because it allows you to see all your numbers, all your stats as you're running without you looking down at a phone. So that is another thing that I like about the treadmill, is the control I have over my workout, over my speed. The environment is mine to control. One of the other advantages, I think, is that you have the HIIT training ability. So when I do several workouts, especially on Workout Wednesdays, check my Instagram blog to see check out what I do on Workout Wednesdays. I like to do a lot of HIIT work. So I always incorporate running because I love running so much. So there's usually some sprints involved. And so I like having my treadmill there because then I can sprint and then I can go and do weights. And then I can get back on and do a couple more miles. There's no way I can go through my neighborhood and every 2 miles put my weights and my mats and everything else that I'm going to want to use as I stop and do these things after every 2 miles. So having a treadmill for HIIT training, whether you do it at home or at the gym, is an advantage of the treadmill. So I know I talked about race training some, and you'll hear me talk about race training as actually a pro of the outdoor running, but it can also be an advantage of the treadmill as well. What it can do that outdoors cannot is simulate a race course. So if you live in a extremely flat area, but you're traveling to Atlanta, Georgia, let's just say that, because downtown Atlanta is crazy with the hills. But you're training for a race in Atlanta, but you live somewhere really flat. A treadmill can help you start sort of train and simulate that elevation. So that is clearly an advantage if you have that situation where you can't get those kinds of courses outside to be able to prepare for a hilly race. All right, so let's talk about a few cons of the treadmill. And one of the biggest ones that most people, is the reason why people call it the treadmill, is because it's so monotonous. And what I mean by that is it can be boring. It's the hamster wheel, you know? But one of the things that I do to kill the monotony is that I will turn on a TV show I like, or I play music videos because the music gets me pumped up, or I just play music. So those are ways that you can get by the monotony of the treadmill and almost forget you're running. So when you run on the treadmill, another disadvantage is that you can lose your natural gait. You don't run on the treadmill with your natural gait. And you actually run in shorter stride. And what I found is when I was doing a lot of treadmill running, when I would run outside, sometimes I would get sore because the muscles that I was working on the treadmill with my shorter stride weren't working the other muscles that I needed to run outside. So if you're going to run treadmill for a lengthy amount of time, you might want to do just like some burst sprints or something like that so that you can get into your full stride so that those muscles won't forget what they're supposed to do when you do want to run outside, because the treadmill does change your stride a little bit. So another disadvantage, which I kind of also said was an advantage, but most treadmills do a pretty good incline. Some of them almost go up to like, I think a 40 incline, a 40 grade incline. But one of the disadvantages that was in the research I did is that they do have limitations. So you can probably get some hills that are steeper, outdoors than what your treadmill can do max, depending on what kind of treadmill you have, because they don't all go up that high. And then another thing is training for those declines. And even my treadmill that is pretty new and it's a commercial grade treadmill, the decline only goes to -3. I do think that is one of the disadvantages of the treadmill, is that you can only go down so far, you can only go up so far. All right, so now we can talk about the pros of outdoor running. As I said, Team Outdoor is a lot more deep than Team Treadmill. Like, a lot of runners like to run outside, and I understand why. Part of the running euphoria is the fresh air of outdoors and just being able to have the freedom of not being restricted to the hamster wheel. It's no secret why people like running outside. But some of the advantages are, as I said, the sun and the fresh air. The vitamin D from the sun and the fresh air together, they mentally and physically stimulate you. They are all good for the temple. All right. So that is one of the advantages. And like I said, no secret why people like running outside. Outdoor runners, they actually get more muscle strengthening because their foot actually has to grab that ground and propel them forward, unlike a treadmill that's kind of helping you along the way, I guess you could say. You definitely get more muscle activation from outdoor running. So as I talked about with the treadmill run not being your natural gait, one of the advantages of running outdoors is that you can get your natural gait. You can get your full stride. Your stride is not affected because you are the one controlling that part. So you get a different kind of control with the treadmill. You get to control your body when running outdoors, which is a huge advantage. Two of the advantages, I'll talk about two advantages at the same time for outdoor running. One is that it's free. Like, all you need is your legs and some good running shoes and you are out, okay? So unlike a treadmill, you're either paying for a gym membership, or you're paying for gas to get somewhere to get to the treadmill, or you are buying a treadmill for your home. Either way, you're going to pay a little money. But outdoor running, you just need to get up, get you some shoes, and go. So that is a great advantage of outdoor running. Another advantage of outdoor running is that it travels with you. So when you go on vacation or you leave your home or you go to visit someone, you just can pack your clothes and go for a run where you're at. So advantages of running outdoors. It is free and it travels with you. Can't beat that. Another advantage of running outdoors is that you don't have to run in line. So you're able to move and work those other muscles that help you to, move around things and people. And so that can help you increase your stability because your body learns how to maneuver and not just run in a straight line. All right, so I got to be honest. The list of cons for outdoor running is very short. So one of them, obviously, number one on the list is that you have to take different safety precautions. The point is that you can only avert the risk. You cannot eliminate it. So there will always be some risk as far as the environment when you run outside. You just have things that can harm you intentionally or cause you injury because the outdoors is unpredictable. So, yeah, that's a big one, along with the fact that you have to worry about weather, like inclement weather. You can't run outside if there's sleet on the ground. Like I know a lot of people will run in the snow, they will run in the rain, but you can't run in conditions that are unsafe, such as there being ice on the ground or a possibility of ice on the ground or hail coming out the sky. There are just some instances where you just have to say no. So that's definitely another disadvantage of the outdoors. With outdoor running, you're working your legs a lot more. So you have to get leg day in. Don't skip leg day if you're a runner that runs outdoors a lot. You need to make sure that your legs are strong to avoid injury and to avoid the strain, not avoid, but avert some of that strain that you're putting on your legs when you're running on that hard ground. Because that ground is hitting back. You hitting the ground and it's hitting back. So in order to have some longevity to your running and to avoid injury, you just want to make sure that you're doing exercises, keeping your legs and your knees strong because they are taking a lot with you running on them on hard surfaces. And the last con that I have for running outdoors, actually I have two more. So one of them being that when you run outdoors, you have to carry your water with you or in some way, shape, or form. I know they try to make it convenient. They got backpacks, they got stuff for your belt, they got water bottles you can clamp to your hand. I get it. Either way, I don't like carrying it. I just don't like carrying it. So it is actually beneficial to me to be on the treadmill where my water is right there. Then the last con that I'll talk about is the fact that you got to get home. Now on a treadmill, you sometimes feel like you can just go hard because once you're done, you're done. You just get off and go about your business. But I feel like sometimes when I'm running outdoors, I hold back because I always know that I can't run out of gas. It makes me feel like you gotta take your time because you don't want to be crazy tired and you still got to turn around or make the rest of this circle, the rest of these couple of miles to get back home. So that is to me a disadvantage of being outdoors. So bottom line, both forms of running are great. And it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for that dynamic environment that is going to train you to be ready for a race in a dynamic environment that you've never run in before, you need to run outdoors. When training for races, you should probably run outdoors as much as possible. Unless you're in one of those situations that I talked about where you're going to a super hilly place and you live in a super flat place, then you need to get some incline drills and some running done on a treadmill so that you can be ready for that kind of environment that you're going into if you can't simulate that environment outside in your local area. Outdoor runners, you should use the treadmill when running outside is just not practical. Just sometimes you have to decide to be an indoor runner. As much as you hate the treadmill or dislike the treadmill, sometimes it's just a better option to keep you safe. Treadmills are also good for transition runners or runners when they're coming out of injury because it absorbs so much of the impact, and you can control the speed so that you can start with slow drills. The treadmill is wonderful for returning from an injury. So if you're an outdoor runner, don't go back out pounding the pavement right away. Kind of transition with the treadmill. Let it help you ease back into getting back out there. So that's it. That's what I got. Hopefully I was as neutral as possible because, like I said, I started off as a treadmill runner, but I love running outdoors still. I still love running on my treadmill. So I really wanted to be neutral in this video, but I also wanted to give the treadmill a little plug because I think it has a bad name. And so I hope some of you might find some advantages to getting a few runs in on the treadmill. I'm not trying to convert anybody from outdoors to treadmill. I just want you to see how the treadmill could be advantageous to you in different situations, that it might be okay to get a few miles in here and there on the treadmill. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked this video. If you did like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell. I post videos every Wednesday, but there will be some bonuses, here and there during the weeks. So please definitely hit the bell so you'll know when I upload new videos. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. All of the links are below. Thank you for watching and see you next time.